fever. Okay.
The Chennai study. I am very much thankful for the Chennai study circle of the SIRC of the ICAI for giving me such opportunity to address on the issue of the MSME. Though basically I am trying to give the brief synopsis of
your video not available, sir.
Video. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Please disable the video.
You have disabled, sir, from this side. You have disabled.
SIRC small.
I say small.
I say small. Okay. Thank you.
The video facility is not coming on my mobile. Basically, this was disabled from your side. So can we continue in audio side, sir?
No restrictions I have given, sir. Actually, the panel list link only we have sent for you.
Okay.
So please log in with you are logged in with the panel list only, no, sir?
You have panelist se kiya hai? Yes.
Yes, sir. But no restriction we are given, sir. There, okay. So,
Let me rejoin.
So I am rejoining, sir. Basically.
Yeah, okay, sir. No problem.
उसकी तरफ से किया है पैनलिस्ट सर स्टिल द प्रॉब्लम इज कंटिन्यूड सर
Available, sir.
Host has disabled the.
You cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
So I will make as a co-host, sir, for you.
Okay, there is no problem.
Yes, sir. It's audible now. It's visible now, sir.
Good evening, friends. I am very much thankful for the Chennai study circle of the SIRC of ICAI for giving me such opportunity. Though I am very much sorry also, though I am suffering from fever or I am not aware about this webinar. So basically, before to proceed further on the issue of the MSME, we have to understand what is the present scenario in which the MSME is operating. Presently, the economy of the government of the present economy is going up at upward side, and there is the key role of the MSME in the current economic growth is more than 67% as per the data published time to time in the economic survey by the Government of India or Reserve Bank of India. Basically, the MSME is the only industry which is providing the more employment, more revenue to the government, and the self-employment, and basically it's curtailing to the service. Basically, the employee or employer relationship that is curtailing. Basically, they are providing the employment to the others in the easy way, because they are not having any kind of restriction. They are compromising and they are providing the every facility to their workers, and they are keen. Basically, they are very much user friendly rather than the corporates, big corporates. So friends, there is the paradigm shifting in the MSME definition from the 1st July 2020. Prior to that, we are all the industries which are falling under the MSME Act, which are governed by the MSME Act 2006. That has been the separate act, and it was the approved by the central government. It is a central act, and it is having its own privileges, and there are certain clauses which are having the non-withstanding clauses in any other law of the MSME Act. So, friends, we are here. We are required to understand the strength of the MSME units which are running now, and how they can perform with on that strength. So, friends, on prior to that, prior to 1st July 2020, there were two types of the registration which are available, and that is the issued by the director of the industries. That is the district-based industrial center that is located in each and every part of the India district headquarters. And again, looking to the population, it is further divided into two parts. There may be certain DIC centers, that is rural or the urban. Right now, from the 1st July 2020, it has been converted on online process. There is no need to approach to the DIC center for getting the registration under the MSME Act. So, friends, first of all, we are required to understand what is the MSME Act. So, friends, that is the definition which is MSME Act that has defined the section 2 small e of the Act. What it says, what is the MSME? So, I am not discussing the earlier definition, which was based on the investment criteria prior to 1st July 2020. Right now, it is having two criteria. That is the investment as well as the turnover basis. So, background history. In the background history, there are, prior to 1st July 2020, there are two types of industry. One is the manufacturing industry and other is the service industry. But certain business parts that is run by the small entrepreneurs in the nature of the trading, which are not covered under the purview of the MSME Act. So that the government of India, to boost up the economy, has thought on that process and revised the definition. So 1st July 2020 onwards, they have eliminated all the criteria of the manufacturing as well as the service industries. Now, what is the present definition? They have again categorized it into three parts. That is the micro, small, or medium. Friends, these three terms are very important. How to define an industry, where it falls. Though this criteria is already falls in older definition also, but we have to understand this term, what is the micro and small, and how to decide where we will fall. Then what is the medium enterprise? What is the micro industries? The micro industries is the investment in plant and machinery or equipments. Mind the words, the criteria to determining the definition to fall under the definition of micro. The word that has been used is the plant, machinery, and equipments. They have not excluded, not included what are the items which are falling under the definition of plant, machinery, and equipments, having the value not more than 1 crore rupees. Friends, please note down the figures. That is rupees 1 crore, not more than 1 crore. It means it should be lesser than 1 crore. And it is not a single definition. It is a cumulative definition. And second part is the annual turnover. Annual turnover that does not exceed rupees 5 crore. Friends, now the question arises, कि any one of the two items, if it exceeds, whether that enterprise will fall under the definition of micro. For example, if any enterprise is having the investment is rupees 95 lakhs and the turnover that is coming under the definition of rupees 5.25 crore, then what would happen? Whether that enterprises will be categorized under the definition of the micro? My answer is no. Basically, they are not fulfilling this criteria. So friends, now a question arises here. Also, one thing, how you will decide what would be the value of the investment in plant and machinery? Whether it is the gross value or whether it is the written down value that is appearing in the books of accounts or under any other part of the any other act from which that figure is to be picked up. Prior to, before discussing on this issue, I will invite your attention of the background history of the investment in prior regime. In the prior regime, there is the certain in the older definition that has been defined under section 2 small e, in which the gross value of the plant and machinery used for the manufacturing purpose for the rendering of the service. That is the gross value. Mind it, it is the gross value, not the written down value. That is the sole criteria for falling any of the three categories of any enterprise. And further, there are certain exclusions also. Likewise, the freight component, installation cost, taxation part, which will be not for part of the original investment. And the other parts like pollution equipments, electric equipments, they will not form part of that plant and machinery. That is the only in the general term or in the gross level, if we understand it, the older plant and machinery means the machinery that was being used for the purpose of the manufacturing or the services only, not others. Here, they have eliminated these old criteria and they have picked up the value of the plant and machinery from the block that is appearing under the income tax act. Meaning thereby, whatever the value that is coming in the books of accounts is to be ignored, and the value that is appearing in the written down value computed depreciation, which is computed for the purpose of the income tax act, will only considered here to determine the value of the investment in plant and machinery. Anybody else is having question here, so we can proceed further. Sir, I am audible now. Anybody else is having any question on this issue? So we are proceed further. Further, here is no other criteria to exclusion or inclusion. The value of the written down. Suppose you have paid GST on the part of the plant and machinery, and you have capitalized it. Then whether that GST part will form part of that investment. Of course, the books of accounts and the manner in which how you have presented in your income tax return, it will be the part of the investment accordingly. So friends, you have to keep these things in the mind. How the plant and machinery, here they are not distinguishing between the equipments and plant and machinery. Even motor vehicles, that is in the nature of car, that is for the purpose of self use, will also part of the plant and machinery. Here for the categorizing it a micro, small or medium enterprises under the MSME Act. Second part that is coming here is the what is the turnover. Where we have to pick the turnover, whether turnover has been defined here. The turnover has also not been defined in the MSME Act. The turnover that comprise in the general parlance, though turnover has been defined under the Companies Act, under section 2 also. And the turnover has also not been defined under the Income Tax Act also. Turnover has been defined under GST Act also. So friends, here we have to see from the general accounting parlance what is turnover. Service rendered for the supplies and services, the value that is realized for the rendering of supply or services, from where we have to pick the value of the turnover. Suppose there is the incidental income in the form of investment, whether that will form part of the turnover. Of course, other will be, basically it will form part of the other income. Basically, they are not having any relation to the business activity at all, though they may have the connection of the with the turnover. So here the part of the annual turnover, that is 5 crore rupee criteria. So bind it 1 crore and 5 crore, that is the criteria for the micro enterprise. Second, if any test fails, then we have to check it from the small, whether it will fall under the small category. So friends, what is the investment in the that criteria that has been given? Here the 1 crore limit has been 1 crore figure has been substituted with the figures of 10 crore rupees, and the turnover criteria has been extended from 5 crore to 50 crore. Friends, most of our SME industries are falling under this category. If that test fail here, now that will fall under the medium category. Medium category, again, they have enlarged the figure from 50 crore and turnover criteria from 250 crore. Now, a question arises, friends. What is the benefit to putting such 3 categories to a, why that has been coming in the definition? Can anybody else tell about this? Can anybody tell about this? Why that 3 categories has been defined here? Friends, this all 3 categories are linked with the certain monitoring policy that has been regulated by the government of India for the micro, small or medium enterprises, as well as the lending policies or the tax concession which are required to be extended to various categories. Second thing that is coming under the MSME definition, that is prior to 1st July 2020, there were two categories, that is one of service or manufacturing, but their minded there are also the small, micro, small or medium enterprises, that is the location wise. It is not the assessee wise, borrower wise, assessee wise, or enter or the ownership constitution wise. That doesn't exist prior to 1st July 2020. What they have done, they have merged all the criteria and they have linked it with the Aadhaar or PAN. Now the industry will fall under the definition only categorized under micro, small or medium enterprises. That is the PAN based. So friends, I think it is clear about the definition of the MSME. So time to time, there are the certain parts which are being issued by the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. Various types of the circulars which are available and we can be viewed. So to understand what they are going to enter or to giving the facility and to exclusion for the net farmer. So I am inviting one of the circular that is the dated that was issued by the Ministry of Micro and Small Enterprises. They have categorized table below note gambling and betting industries, whether it will be form part under the small and medium enterprises. The answer they have clarified it, that will not fall. And the second category, and they have given, there are exceptions in the division micro, small, medium enterprise eligible for registration Udyam Raja. Certain maintenance and repairs of the motor vehicle and maintenance of the repairs of motor cycles, mopeds, scooters, three-wheelers, which are not available. Such type of the industries are not falls under the MSME category prior to this prior to this notification. They are also covered here. So certain time to time, certain updations is coming. Now the question arises whether it is an obligatory part to get registered under MSME Act to every enterprise which are falling under the MSME Act, or it will be deemed to be automatic whether it is a MSME industry or not. Friends, I would like to invite your kind attention. It is the obligation part of the enterprises to get it registered with the e-portal of the MSME Act, and it is required to be get updated time to time. Otherwise, no benefit is going to be given if that process has not been carried out. So this is about the definition of the MSME Act. Now I am coming on the one most important provision that is appearing in the MSME Act. That is the most powerful section that is giving the benefit despite of the terms and conditions or the whatever the written agreements or the any terms of the agreement, that is a delayed payment to the micro and small enterprises. There is 3 provisions under the chapter 5. What it says? What it says? I am reading the first, what where it says and how it is to be read. So, first of all, prior to fall under this definition, we are required to have a valid GST registration. Where any supplier supplies any goods or render any service to the buyers, the buyer shall make, word here is the shall make the payment, therefore on or before the date of agreed upon, meaning thereby buyer is under obligation to pay the dues as per the agreed terms and conditions, or the whether it is orally or whether in writing or before the appointed. However, there is the exception clause and there is a proviso. What it says, provided that in no case the period agreed upon between the supplier and the buyers in writing. Sir, mind it there what the word did here, provided that in no case the period agreed upon between the supplier and the buyer in writing shall exceed 45 days from the date of acceptance or or the day of the deemed acceptance. Meaning thereby, in no case, the period will not exceed 45 days, irrespective of the terms and condition of the supplier. And what would be the consequences if that has not been followed here? In that case, sorry, sir. Friends, what would happen if that payment is not made? The supplier is under obligation to pay interest, compound interest, not the simple interest, compound interest for the delayed period from the date of agreed terms or condition or the appointed date. Thrice, 3 times of the bank rate that is declared by RBI time to time. 3 times. Recently, I think it is the rate of that is approximately 6%. So that is approximately, it is to be checked, but the buyer is under obligation to pay interest at the rate of 18%. That is the cost that is required to be paid, irrespective of the terms and conditions that is mentioned in the written agreement of the supplier of services. Now, the friends, a question arises. If the both of the parties are agreed, then what would happen? So this clause does not provide any kind of leverage as per the language which is being written here. I would also like to invite kind attention towards the format of the audited financials. Oh, sorry, the formats of the financials that has given in the Schedule 3 of the Companies Act. We have the compulsory requirement of the disclosure, the figures year-end outstanding payable to the MSME industries, and further bifurcated among the how much interest you have paid, how much interest is accrued thereon, how much the account has been settled beyond that date. This further, there is a obligation cast on the companies to file a return on annual basis. I think it is half yearly or annual basis. DPT 1 or 3, 4 that is required to be filed of the outstanding balance payable to the MSME. So please take care. Here, if we think from the perspective of the buyer, then we are required to disclose these figures also. When there is a disclosure on the face of the financials, so we can imagine what a person can initiate action promptly on the basis of the audited financials. Now the another question which arises is that whether that interest component is liable to be allowable expenditure under the provisions of the Income Tax Act. Friends, there is the clear-cut D-bar for claiming the allowance of the interest expenditure under the provisions of income tax. That expenditure is not allowable at all. So now one thing I would like to invite your kind attention, whether that interest part is subject to GST, levy of GST or not. Friends, any interest in relation to supplies or services definitely fall under the GST regime, because this interest is different from the interest on the finance. Its governance of the interest is from the Sales of Goods Act 1933. So that will link with the indirect taxation. So please keep these things in mind. Friends, now a question arises. What would be the other benefits to the MSME industries? What would be the other benefits? Rather than these we have discussed. Friends, if we discuss these things from the lending policies of the bank, the role they have categorized any kind of the lending to MSME industries under the priority sector. What is the mandatory requirement there? There is the mandatory requirement is the GST registration or MSME registration. That is required to be updated time to time. So various types of the lending schemes is given to the small or medium enterprises. So where they will provide it concessional facilities that is not available to the. Just I am talking about the presently there is the CGTMS system that is allowable to any enterprise which is falling under the category of the MSME up to rupees 2 crore. If there is no adequate quality security, the bank can provide the facilities subject to subject to the condition ki other criteria of the lending is fulfilled on the basis of the credit insurance policy, that is credit guarantee trust through credit guarantee trust fund, in which certain percentage of the fees is levied and the credit facilities available. Mudra scheme is also available. We have seen in the COVID period also, they have provided various schemes in the two types of the schemes, that is one loan and another loan on the BGCL form they have provided to meeting all the working capital shortfall requirements by way of the COVID loan to MSME industries. Further, friends, there was also a scheme of the contributory part of the employer contribution towards PF and ESIC. Though I am not remembering that scheme has been extended after 31st March 2022 or not. But on the commencement of the business, the central government is taking initiative to promote the MSME industries, to give the employer contribution in the form of PF or ESIC benefit that is also available. That benefit can also be availed from that. Though there is the one deduction section under section 80 under the Income Tax Act is also there. They are also providing the additional facility, but there is the condition there both of the scheme you can opt only one scheme. Now I am coming on the third part. What is the other benefit that is available to MSME industries? The other benefit, the government, central government procurement policy, more than 10,000 items they have reserved for the MSME. Under that category, more than 25% procurement quota is required to be supplied by the MSME industries. So there is also an scheme for the priority benefit in the supply at the marketing front, support by the government of India. Thirdly, they are having the specialized nodal agency NSIC for the MSME industries. They are providing bill purchase credit facility under the RMS on the basis of the 25% bank guarantee that is given by the bank, and they are charging the interest at very nominal. So friends, when the government is promoting the industry, and what is the motive government to, what is the motive to give such type of facility? One motive is to make the industries MSME to sustainable and compatible with the large industries, and other is the employer generation. Employer generation by the MSME industries. In further, I would like to invite your kind attention that there is also the concessional benefits under the RBI Act in the settlement of the MSME industries also. when any accounts falls under the category of NPA, they are having a different norms rather than general norm to the MSME industry. Plus, what other facilities are there to boost up the MSME industries? Government of India is providing various motivational, incentivize the industries by way of providing capital assistance scheme, technology upgradation scheme. The most popular scheme in the last 15 years was the technology upgradation scheme that is extended up to 15 lakhs rupees to the MSME category industries. Most of industries which are falling under that category, they are availing that value. And that is the directly account is credited by us. In plus, the government is providing the various incentive schemes by forming the overall state policies for the MSME industries. Though they are conducting the various seminars, lean technologies, ISO or ISI registrations, they are providing the concession. They are providing the assistance in form of the concession fees, the ISI, ISO registration. So, well, there is no demarcation at all. What scheme is available? We should approach to our nearest MSME department, or we are required to look at the MSME website. What schemes are available? What suits our industries or our clients? Based on that, we can proceed further and we can be able to get the client benefited by these schemes. One thing that is also required to be given in the MSME registration, there is Aadhaar is compulsory mandatorily required. Under Income Tax Act, the MSME industries is also given the concessional taxation benefit to the company. Presently, that is existed 25%, that is reduced to 22%. 3% concession is also available to any kind of industry that is fixed with the turnover criteria. That is one criteria that is less than 400 crores. Of course, if there is this criteria is 400 crore rupees, so that means this is also definitely that is coming under the purview of MSME categories. So friends, this is bird eye view on the MSME from my side. So can anybody have any query? We can discuss it. Thank you very much. Whether anybody is having any queries? Should we conclude?
1 minute, sir. Any queries, sir? So you can raise in the Q&A panel. Sir will answer, sir. So any query you can write in the Q&A panel. Sir will answer the query, sir. Or you can raise a hands. We will enable the option, sir, for to speak. So any doubt you can raise a hands. We can allow to talk. So any query regarding the session, you can raise a. We can allow to talk you, sir. Kindly raise any query. You can raise a hands. So there is no query, I think, sir.
So should we conclude it, sir?
So, but over, sir, the session is completed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, participant, for the patience hearing, and I am very much again extremely sorry not to respond on
Due
time.
to not feeling the well, sir is in the
But I have
also,
tried.
sir, attended. Yes.
But I have tried on the basis of the material available on my hand, on the basis of my general perception on the MSME issues. I have tried to address it. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.